I never imagined that a simple act of kindness would become one of the most difficult lessons of my life. About 2 years ago, there was a young woman in my church named Ada. She came from a humble family and was studying at a university several hours away from our town. Most people in church knew her situation. Her father had passed away years earlier, and her mother struggled to provide for the family. Ada was intelligent, respectful, and active in church activities whenever she came home during holidays. She spoke often about her dreams of graduating, getting a job, and helping her family escape poverty. I admire her determination. One Sunday after service, her mother approached me and explained that Ada was facing serious financial difficulties in school. Tuition wasn't the problem at the moment, but transportation, feeding, textbooks, and other expenses were becoming overwhelming. I thought about it for several days. Eventually, I decided to help. I wasn't wealthy, but I could afford to send 30,000 every month. To me, it seemed like a small sacrifice that could make a big difference in someone's future. When I informed Ada, she was extremely grateful. She thanked me repeatedly and promised not to disappoint me. For months, everything went smoothly. At the beginning of each month, I would send the money. Sometimes she would send updates about school. Other times, she would tell me about exams, assignments, and projects she was working on. Whenever she came home for holidays, she always greeted me respectfully. Her mother often thanked me after church services. Seeing her remain in school gave me a sense of satisfaction. I genuinely believed I was helping to change someone's life. Then came the holiday that changed everything. I had traveled to a nearby city for a church conference. The program ended later than expected, so I stopped at a popular restaurant before beginning my journey home. The place was busy. Music played softly in the background while people talked and laughed around their tables. As I waited for my order, I noticed a familiar face. It was Ada. She was sitting at a table with several young men. At first, I thought nothing of it. Students have friends, students socialize. There was nothing wrong with that. But as I sat there, I observed the group for a while. Something didn't feel right. The men appeared significantly older than she was. The way they interacted with her made me uncomfortable. There was excessive drinking at the table. Money was being spent carelessly. The atmosphere wasn't what I expected from someone who constantly spoke about financial struggles. I left without approaching her. The entire drive home, I kept thinking about what I'd seen. Part of me felt it wasn't my business. Another part felt concerned. After all, I wasn't just another church member. I had been financially supporting her education for months. Several days later, I decided to speak with her privately. I contacted her and asked if we could talk. When we met, I carefully explained my concerns. I told her I wasn't trying to control her life. I wasn't accusing her of anything. I simply wanted her to be careful. I explained that young people sometimes find themselves surrounded by individuals who don't genuinely care about their future. The conversation deteriorated almost immediately. Her facial expression changed. Her voice became sharp. She accused me of judging her. She insisted I knew nothing about the people she was with. She said I had no right to question her personal decisions. I tried to remain calm. I reminded her that my concern came from a place of care. But by then, she was already hungry. We ended the conversation without reaching any understanding. For the next few days, the situation continued bothering me. I worried about her. I worried about the choices she was making. Eventually, I decided to inform my mother. Looking back now, that was probably the moment everything truly fell apart. I expected her mother to speak with her gently. I thought perhaps parental guidance would help. Instead, within hours, my phone began receiving voice notes. The first one lasted almost 3 minutes. Then came another, and another, and another. I listened in disbelief. Ada was furious. She accused me of destroying her trust. She said I had gone behind her back. She said that because I sent her 30,000 every month, I had started believing I owned her. According to her, I thought I had earned the right to monitor her movements and interfere in her personal life. Some of her comments were deeply insulting, others were simply painful, not because they were true, but because they came from someone I had genuinely tried to help. I listened to every message, then I put my phone away. I never replied, I never argued, I never defended myself. I simply chose silence. At the beginning of the next month, I did not send the money. Days passed, then weeks. Eventually, a message arrived. It was an apology. She admitted she had spoken out of anger. She asked me not to take the voice note seriously. I still didn't respond. A week later, another apology came, then another. As time passed, the messages became more frequent. When school resumed, she reached out again. This time, she wasn't just apologizing, she was asking whether I would continue the monthly support. That was when I found myself facing a difficult internal battle. On one hand, I believed in forgiveness. Everyone makes mistakes, everyone makes things they regret. On the other hand, I couldn't forget the things she had said. What troubled me most wasn't even the insult, it was the fact that she seemed to view my support as unnecessary interference when she was angry. But suddenly, important again when the financial assistance stopped. I spent months thinking about it. Some friends advised me not to continue helping. They argued that the money was intended for education, not as payment for respect. Others disagreed. They believed in her reaction revealed how she truly viewed my involvement in her life. One Sunday after church, I discussed the situation with an elderly church member known for her wisdom. She listened carefully before giving her opinion. Her response was simple: helping people is a beautiful thing. She said, but help should always be given freely. The moment either side begins to feel entitled, the relationship becomes unhealthy. Those words stayed with me. Not evening, I finally made my decision. I sent Ada a respectful message. I told her I had forgiven her completely. I wished her success in her education and future career. But I also explained that I would not be resuming the monthly support. I encouraged her to explore scholarships, educational grants, part-time work opportunities, and other sources of assistance. For several hours, there was no response. Then a message arrived. She thanked me for everything I had done. She apologized once more, and she wished me well. That was the last direct conversation we ever had. Years have passed since then. Occasionally, I heard updates through church members. I learned that she eventually completed her studies. She found employment. She is doing well today. Whenever people ask whether I regret helping her, my answer remains the same: no, I don't regret helping. If anything, I am grateful for the experience because it taught me that kindness should never come with expectations, but wisdom should always accompany generosity. Helping someone can change their life, but sometimes knowing when to step back can change yours as well. So now I want to ask you, what would you have done if you were in my position? Would you have continued supporting her education after the apology, or would you have ended the financial support and moved on? Share your thoughts in the comments below. And if you enjoy realistic stories filled with life lessons, difficult choices, and meaningful discussions, please like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss another story. Your support helps us continue bringing powerful stories that makes us think about the choices we make and people we help.